Streamers gather to stream their various podcasts.
Okay.
It is here that we find our heroes, Justin and Steve, engaged in a great debate about the merits of copyright infringement.
Well, I guess we are ready to start the show. Let me level out the audio real quick here, because we didn't do that yet.
Sonic, oh god, I thought I was muted. Sonic, you have a good show.
Oh, this is
This
the
is where I
multi-stream, isn't it? This is the multi-stream. I finally found my perfect Eugene.
This is Infendo What If. Tell me if you can hear this and if it's too loud. I'm guessing you...
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Like,
Sorry, I was lost.
Hear it.
I was lost in the moment.
And I was hyperventilating. I was like, "Oh God, not again!"
Yeah, I zoned out hard there. I was like, "Oh, this is lovely. Is this Metroid? This sounds like Metroid."
I'm gonna, just for posterity's sake, I'm gonna open up Facebook and just make sure that Facebook can also hear this.
It's a little loud if this is the background music, but if this is like the intro, then I think it's fine.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Good to know.
And there's a lot of like Michael Bay-esque like.
Okay. It's working.
Lukas, welcome to the show.
All right. Let's test out then how it sounds with our opening. I guess Steve.
So I get bored at work sometimes. When I do, I head over to twitch.tv/Infendo Radio and get caught up on last week's episode.
So connected to the world of Nintendo, even Link knows where to find us.
Cool.
So connected to...
Oh, shut up.
So
Nintendo
connected
guy.
to the world of Nintendo, even I don't really get that. Link's not that bad at navigating. Like he's a good guy. He does his job.
Maybe he hasn't got the map yet.
I've never played a Zelda game where Link hasn't found the Triforce and saved Zelda and beaten Ganondorf. It's not like The Legend of Zelda Link's trip to the mall or I don't know. Welcome to Infendo Radio, everybody.
All right, let's do this. We already have 4 viewers. That's weird. Hello.
Hello there. You can tell we're very popular. We're very excited.
We're in the single digits.
We're very excited the 4 of you have decided to join us tonight.
All right, let's do this shit. Here we go. Oh, no, wait. I didn't hit record on all the places. I need to hit record here. I hit record here already. And then I will record that. Okay, let's do it.
So I get bored at work sometimes. When I do, I head over to twitch.tv/Infendo Radio and get caught up on last week's episode.
So connected to the world of Nintendo, even Link knows where to find us. Infendo Radio is on now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Infendo Radio. Episode, I don't know the number because we didn't ask before the show. I want to say 617. I'm going to say that. Maybe I'm wrong. You'll know. You're listening to the pre-recorded show. You know the episode number. If you're here live with us, thank you for joining us. We have got a show for you tonight. As you can tell, if you're watching this live, Justin is gone. Steve has been gone for like 20 episodes now because he left the show. He did guest host one time. Eugene is wearing a Sonic hat, so
yeah,
long time viewers of the show might be shocked to hear that. I'm kind of excited for tonight's show, actually, because we, first off, apologies if you listened to last week's show live. We had some audio issues, so it was it didn't work. Eugene. It was oops, all Eugene. And that's great if you're a Eugene fan, but for the rest of you, we apologize. We are here now, and we have a lot to talk about. I've got a game I'm very excited to talk about. Eugene has plenty of games that he's very excited to talk about. But before all that, Eugene, where can the people find you when you're not hosting this wonderful show with me?
Well, thank you for asking. Basically, go to infendo.com. You can find all the things there. We mentioned Steve. You can go to his Discord from there. I'm pretty sure that still exists, you know?
It still exists. It's a cool place. I hang out there all the time.
Yeah, do all the things and find me there.
You know it. And I'm going to butt in and talk about all the great places you can find me because I'm very important. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/LukasPeace, LUKASPEACE. I post gameplay videos and stuff there. Usually, I'm posting Let's Plays. I just posted one today, actually. It's part 3 of Steve trying to get through my Mario Maker level. That's hilarious. You should go check that out. Laughs from start to finish. I also just started a new Twitter account, which is going to be annoying to say because I chose a terrible name for my game. At Mukumuku Plaza. That is MUKU Plaza. So if you're really interested in finding out, if you're really interested in finding out all about the game that I'm working on, that I'm going to try to actually get released in the not too far off future, go check that out and see how I'm doing on all that. But we are not here to talk about the games I am working on. We are here to talk about the games I am playing, or more specifically, a game that I have not played yet, but I think you have, Metroid Dread, and some controversy surrounding it, right? If you follow gaming news at all, then you've probably heard all about how Kotaku has gotten into some hot water recently, as kind of per usual lately, because they posted this article all about how great the game runs on an emulator on your PC. So people are kind of up in arms about this, right? There are people who are saying, it's no big deal. They just said what they said. There are people who are saying Kotaku's encouraging piracy and emulation, and I will not stand for this. Eugene, you actually got a chance to kind of look over the article and everything. Do you kind of want to guide us through this topic, and maybe we can share our feelings?
Yeah, definitely. And I will say, and I said this pre-show as well, I didn't read the article before it was edited by Kotaku. So on the bottom of the article right now, it says an earlier version of the story was understood by many readers to be a direct suggestion to illegally download this just released game. We regret this interpretation. Kotaku believes emulation is a vital part of our world of gaming, not least when it comes to a game preservation, but not directly encouraging anyone to break the law and download games they may have never purchased. It goes on a little bit from there, but that's pretty much, the gist of it. So I understand that they edited the article a bit since I read it. So, take that for what it is with my impressions here. But I also will say, and fair or unfair, I do know that Kotaku gets a lot of crap online, and the whole Gawker family does. So I think that kind of plays into this as well as to how the internet kind of reacted to this. But for me, they were just basically saying, the Metroid Dread was just released. It looks like you can play it on the Dolphin emulator. By the way, that it runs at 4K. It looks fantastic. And that was kind of like, how I interpreted the article, they didn't necessarily link out to a place where you can download the ROM for, Metroid Dread. I think they did link to the emulator that can run at 4K, but come on, I don't know that that's necessarily a recommendation from them to pirate the game. So with that said, I feel that for me, because I've downloaded that emulator and I have tried to look at Metroid Dread in 4K because I own the game, right? Because I was gonna say the damn game.
I like to look at my recently games my friends have been playing recently, and I saw that you were like the only one that's played Metroid Dread, so I figured that would probably be kind of a safe bet that you had emulated it too, just to see what it looked like. Yeah. So what'd you think? Was it? Hey, let's get in hot water. Was it fantastic? Was it everything you'd ever dreamed of?
Yeah. I guess we'll talk about this a little bit in the change of system, but the opening of the game is really cool because there's like a cool cinematic, all that fun stuff. It looked awesome in 4K. I have a 4K monitor, it looked just really smooth, really awesome, but I don't know that I want to play this game on my computer anyways, I have a Switch because I like playing games on my Switch, right? So it was cool to see it a little bit, but I don't know that for me that's where I want to play it. But alas, a lot of people I'm sure would prefer to play it in 4K in all its glory, and more power to them, I guess.
So I did Wayback Machine this as we were talking, kind of, and I kind of looked it over. It's surprisingly tongue-in-cheek. Like it's pretty open about the whole emulation thing. I get it. I'm not saying that necessarily this is like, I don't think it goes so far as sabotage, but like they actually like recommend multiple emulators that you can use, such as Yuzu, Ryujinx, and stuff like that.
That's still in the article. And again, Oh, go ahead.
Well, then they go on to say, there's a bunch of other Metroid games you can play. Your best bet is emulation. Nintendo's bad about maintaining their past games. Blah 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 blah. I don't think it's as egregious as like some people on the internet have been making it sound. It doesn't sound like it's actively. Well, I mean, it's kind of actively encouraging people to emulate, but it's not like, hey, screw Nintendo, let's teach them a lesson. Let's, it's not like the Pokemon backlash where it's like, oh, we gotta screw these guys over. Everybody buy Temtem, that kind of stuff. It's just, it's just very, very emulation positive, and I don't think either of us really have a huge issue with emulation. We've talked kind of ad nauseum about it before. I haven't really emulated in years, not out of some like moral higher point or whatever, but it's because I don't really like emulating games. I feel like there's always, like, if you go past like N64, there's always some chop, there's always some maybe that's just me and my setup and everything. The fact that I use a laptop, I don't know. But I haven't really had a chance to emulate games in a while. And I don't think I would care enough about the visuals to emulate like Metroid Dread in 4K.
To like make it look better or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But we have had people on the show before. We've had like guests and stuff who are staunchly anti-emulation, so I can see how somebody like that might read into this and go, well, these guys are encouraging the piracy, so
I for me it's very gray area, right? Because I might get into some hot water for this, right? But I guess technically the way that I went about getting my ROM of Metroid Dread was piracy, right? Because I don't know how to take it off of the thing and put it on my computer.
But again, and I don't know, I think this is all gray area, everybody's morals are different. You actually purchased the game. See, in my mind, and okay, let's talk about emulation. Let's talk about piracy. I go a step further than that. When I own a game, I feel like I have contributed to the game. And then if I like a soundtrack, like on YouTube, I will download songs from that soundtrack. I feel like I have already bought into your product and the music is just a part of that product. So I'm doing my, I'll buy like a remixer if they have something, but I don't think I've ever actually bought like a game soundtrack because it's just like, I don't know, I bought your game, and I'm sure that's a horrible philosophy. I'm sure there are people out there right now that hate my guts for saying that because, the composers need money too, and they get their money through different resources. I'm sure they're not paid as well as the developers or whatever, but that's just always how I've like justified it, right? It's like I bought, Chocobo Racing. I should be able to download the Chocobo Racing soundtrack. Like,
sure. Yeah, no, it is very gray area, right? Because like, again, like some people would even argue, and I think Kotaku may even have in their article here, but there's even some certain games where, like I can't buy it on the virtual console. It's a rare game, so I wouldn't be able to necessarily find it on like an eBay without spending an arm and a leg. So what do you do then? You just, at that point, I almost feel emulation is viable, right? Because I'm not going to spend $120 to play Panzer Dragoon on the Saturn, but I might want to try it, so at some point I might emulate it,
Well, yeah, like every game, not every game, I don't know where I was going with that. Every time I've played Mother 3, I've emulated it, obviously, because I don't think the game has ever come stateside. There have been fan translations and stuff like that, but I don't think we've ever had an official release for that game, right? And I'm not about to buy a Japanese copy of like a 20-year-old game. The devs aren't going to see that money anyway. Some dude in like Rio Rancho who's had it in his attic for like 20 years is going to get that. So I get it. I mean, it's tough. It's all very kind of gray, I think. But I think we skirt the line between like full on evil and just like, dipping a toe in the water with our interest in emulation, at least.
I will say though that with Metroid Dread, if you're listening to this and you can pay for it, there's no excuse, right?
I think it would be a scummy move to just emulate it, and I get, like, I've had friends who need to emulate, right? Like, I've had friends who did not have like the financial stability to buy every game out there, but they still want to play a game, and I understand that. I think it's okay to live within your means. Gaming can be an expensive hobby, but if you're doing well, if things are going well, if you already own a Switch, buy a copy of Metroid Dread and then emulate the pretty version. All you're doing is getting an upgraded visual. So
yeah, totally. Yeah, that's where I would draw the line, right? Like, if it's a new game and I want to play it, of course I'd want to play it, but like, I would feel really like you said, scummy about it if I just decided to go on Pirate Bay and download it and just
especially like there is like a line where it's like, okay, the game's been out for like 4 years, 5 years, whatever. Like, if you went on and you downloaded a pirated version of Mario Odyssey today, I don't know that I would care. It's like, sure. Okay, whatever, It's an older game. You could still buy it. It's still accessible, but it's like, all right, it's all good. They already made their money. But like, Metroid Dread just came out, and if everybody's just, and I guess that kind of leads me to, I don't really like this point because I don't really think it's fair, but I guess it is kind of an open question. Is Nintendo kind of getting themselves into hot water with this by having a console that doesn't do like 4K and everything? Like is that partially, are they partially to blame for that? Like I like the fact that my Switch is nice and cheap, and maybe producing like a 4K version is just way too much work or money or parts or whatever, and it's just not viable. But and I don't even agree with the argument that I'm making, but just for the sake of playing devil's advocate, like, do they bear some of the responsibility for not producing the best quality version of the product to the point where people feel the need or the desire to emulate it to get a better one? Like, does it go beyond just being free and being like, well, I want the game to look good? Like,
that's tough, right? Because for me, that makes me think of the PlayStation Portable, right? Because you look at the DS and PlayStation Portable, it was basically like one was way more powerful than the other, but it cost
obviously the
Sony,
DS was the super system,
right?
So,
but but it cost Sony in the long run, right? Because because it was a more expensive like, there was a lot of reasons why it ended up costing them in the long run. So if Nintendo were to go that route, would the Switch even be as popular as it is now? I don't know. I don't know if they released like a $400 or a $500 console from the get-go, if the Switch would be selling as gangbusters. So yeah, that's a tough question.
And I don't really have an answer. Like, I don't like that mentality. I think I always, except when it comes to game design. When it comes to game design, I will throw Nintendo under the bus, as you've well heard. But lately, at least, it seems. I don't know why that's the stance I've taken, the hill I'm dying on. But I always tend to like lean more for like the company and the developer when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, like with the whole Pokemon thing where everybody's like, the graphics look like they're from the N64. I'm like, come on, guys, they're doing the best they can.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sure there are people out there that hate that because, like, I mean, I get it. You want you're a Nintendo fanboy, or even just like a Nintendo fan or whatever. You want your games to look good. You want your games to perform well. You want your games to be the latest and greatest in tech. Like Pokemon Arceus is already getting some heat because it's been revealed it's not an open world game. I never expected it to be. Steve wrote me. He's like, well, looks like you were right. It's going to play like Monster Hunter. And I was like, I was right. I predicted that. Like, I just thought everybody knew that. But, so... Like,
it looked open world-ish, right? But you can, for me, it kind of still seemed like there was hubs almost,
Yeah, so, I just kind of predicted it, but I guess. But
well, I think we talked about it on the show, so yeah. That's probably where I got it from, because it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's just kind of like expectations versus reality. People want things to be really good all the time, but sometimes things have to be cheaper or slightly less, fantastic. And that's where emulation comes in. You can get the best version of everything for free.
Shoot. Yeah, right, exactly.
All right, well, I think we've beaten this horse into the ground, so why don't we take a quick break and we'll come back to it with the games that we have legally been playing. Hopefully.
Okay, we're back. Hello.
I love that I just hear all the, like, you know, baby noises in the background.
Oh, God.
Like I heard her saying his name over and over again. Now all I hear is "Go to sleep, go to sleep."
Did you hear her go, "Stop it! You stop doing that!" Because that was a thing too. I'm pretty sure.
I missed that, but I'll check for it in the replay. That's the great thing. You've got all these childhood memories on camera.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Okay. Let's go ahead and start the audio on this track. And let's find somebody to say something, like Justin.
Want to hear us promote all the things we're doing instead of updating Infendo.com? Listen to us every Thursday night.
I like the music stops and Justin just keeps going.
Fuck, I forgot to put a note that there was a break, but it was somewhere around here.
You Jonathan, you fool. I like, too, that during the break, we talked more about our opinions on, like, Metroid. And then when we came back, it was like, so about your child. Let's talk personal life.
That's how we do. All right, show start. I'm going to start the music, and you're going to take it away, sir.
What I do? Pass it right back.
Oh, God, I didn't mean to do that. I pushed it right in the middle of the track. Here we go. God damn it, I did it again.
Want to hear us promote?
Shut up, Justin. It's fucking shit.
People are going to be really confused who are watching this live and think that I'm Justin and you're Steve.
For real, because, yeah, actually. Okay, here we go.
Want to hear us promote all the things we're doing instead of updating Infendo.com? Listen to us every Thursday night at those times that we're on in the different time zones.
Beautiful. Why would we ever do a second take? Welcome back to Infendo Radio. It is time for Change the System. This is the tail end of the show where we talk about the games we've been playing and how interesting our hobby is.
Go to
all those places Justin's telling you to go to. So actually, Eugene, I was going to give you the floor, but I've been holding this in for a week and a half, and that's not good for you.
No, you're about to gush, and
let me
ready.
Gush.
I'm ready.
I have been playing, I've been playing a little Warframe, and I dabbled in The Sims 3 last night, but mostly I've been playing a little game called Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Let me paint the picture. Let me tell you the tale of this game so you properly understand where I come from. When this game first got announced, I was like, oh, look, a cheap Smash Bros. Ripoff with SpongeBob. That looks like crap. And then it kind of got on my radar. A couple of friends were like, are you going to get it? I might get it like at Christmas or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Smash Bros is fun. I might look into it. Maybe when it goes on sale or something. Then I look at the eShop. It was pre-selling for like $10 off. I was like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. Then I started watching all the dev releases of all the character gameplay. And about the time we got to Sandy, which was like the 4th or 5th one, I was like,
I'm in.
I don't know why, but this is the most important thing in my life now. So from that point on, I subscribed to both the devs and the publishers' channels.
Oh God! So you were like watching like all of the. Oh man!
I watched every character preview as soon as it went live. It was the highlight of my weekdays for a while. Weekends were tortures because they don't post videos on the weekends. And I started rewatching old Nicktoons in preparation for this. I went back and I watched Real Monsters because Oblina got revealed. I have been watching Cat Dog for the last 2 weeks, and I downloaded the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Have not watched that one yet. Heard amazing things from Eugene. Just haven't gotten around to it yet, but trust me, it's on the radar. So I was a little excited for this game. Now here's the thing that's probably going to drive you really nuts, though. I'm not really like a competitive online fighting game person.
We know
I've
this.
I've been playing the game entirely in single player. There are 20 characters to play as right now. It dabbles in all... Oh, I watched The Loud House, too. That show that came on like 4 years ago. I've watched the first season of that as well. So I was ready for this. I now know every character in this show except the Avatar ones, and I've seen enough YouTube clips to get a sense for who they are and what they're all about.
Sure.
I really like this game. It is a weird experience playing probably the best made Smash Bros game that isn't Smash Bros, because it's still like 5 steps removed from Super Smash Brothers. Like, okay, first off, the most jarring thing that you notice right off the bat, there's 2 things. One, your character cannot sprint. Your character has one movement that gets a little faster a couple seconds after they start moving. That allows you to do like a sprint attack, but there's no like double tap to sprint. That takes some getting used to. The other thing that's really weird is you have 3 buttons for attacks, kind of like a Street Fighter kind of situation. So there's your light attacks, then there's heavy attacks, which normally would be either like the C stick, or in my case, like holding the stick and holding A to do like a heavy attack. That's its own button. And then you have special attacks. So I've mapped those out to like Y, A, and B and everything. And then the X button is my jump, just like in Smash Bros. Other than that, it feels pretty smashy. It feels tight. It feels responsive. It's fun to play. It's satisfying to play. It doesn't really suffer from being too floaty or anything. It is really fun to spike enemies with like your down A attacks. Like it's really satisfying. A lot easier to do than in Smash Bros. The hitboxes feel a little bit bigger. So at like 70 or 80 damage, you can like jump off the stage and bam, and just spike them down into like the void and everything, which is great. There's no items. So that's something to consider if you're more of like
about items. I thought I heard that there wasn't any, but
if you're more of a party game person, that's the thing that's missing. There's also like one of the more annoying things, and I understand why, because I've watched all like the dev interviews and stuff because I was really obsessed with this game. There's no voice acting at present. They have said they're working on it. They also are super supportive of like the modding community. Like this is a really like gamer-oriented dev group. You can tell that they're really like they're gamers at heart, because they've talked about how much they love like Project M, the Smash Bros Melee thing and everything. They want people to dev their game by modding it and stuff like that, so they're open to that too. But they have talked about wanting to get voice acting down the line. It's just that apparently the voice acting would have cost half their total budget for making the game. Even though this is sponsored by Nickelodeon, it is a very small, like, South American team of, like, 20 people, I think, that worked on it. I've never heard of them before. They made like one other Smash Bros. Clone, and that's how they got the license for this one from Nickelodeon. So they're kind of just starting out and everything, but they did an amazing job. Like it is not Smash Ultimate, right? And it should not be compared to Smash Ultimate. But comparing it to like Smash Bros. 64 or even like Melee, that feels fair, right? It's at like kind of that stage of its inception, where I could see 2 or 3 games down the line, it kind of learning from the things it does wrong, it improving on the things it does really well. I just think it's really fun. I've been playing arcade mode on very hard, which is like the highest difficulty. And I found out if you beat it without losing a single match, you get like a bonus to your trophy that shows that you did it like flawlessly. So I've been collecting flawless wins on the hardest difficulty. 11 of 20 characters I've done that on. That is my white whale. That's my task awesome. To be completed. I've done it on all the good characters. Toph, help me out. Haven't watched the show yet. Love her. She's amazing. She has all these powerful ground attacks. She can create like a pillar that slams down on the enemy. You can make a dirt clod in like midair that you can hop on. So she's kind of like Little Mac, where she's bad. We talked about this. She's bad at aerial and everything. But if you knock her off the stage, you can just create a platform, kind of like the villager in Minecraft. And then you can hop back onto the stage and everything. Really fun. Oblina from Our Real Monsters feels kind of like a weird Sonic kind of character. Like she's much faster. She can do like a spin attack and everything. She's got a great down slam. Cat Dog is phenomenal. Cat Dog can actually switch forms. So like you're either controlling dog or cat, and dog is like heavier but slower, and cat is like faster. Yeah, exactly. Very interesting. Like it's a simple game. But I can see how people that really like these kind of fighting games would really enjoy it. And it came at a good time for me, because we talked about this a little bit last show, but the Sora announcement was very meh for me. It was a 5 out of 10 kind of thing, like, yay, but I just didn't really have much of an opinion one way or another. So Smash is kind of over for a while for me, I think. Like, until the next game gets announced, or it's been like a hot, couple of years and stuff. I feel like I'm going to be playing that one very casually, very passively. So kind of hoping this game can pick up the slack. But from what I've played so far, I really, really like it. Like, it is really fun. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like first impressions. I could go on about every single character and why I think, Nigel Thornberry is better than Invader Zim, but like that's probably a discussion for the weeks and weeks on, where I'm playing this game over and over again. So, and like I said, that's kind of it. Like, other than that, I've been doing more Warframe, which is same old. They have a Halloween event right now, so if you play Warframe, you should go check that out. It's on Deimos. You get a lot of cool stuff, cool outfits and stuff like that. There are bats that you can have fly around you. I played a little bit of Monster Hunter Stories with Steve at least like a week ago, because the Molten Tigrex came out. But really, it's just kind of been Nickelodeon, man. So
all Nickelodeon all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
I will say I'm very excited for Mario Party. Really, really excited for Mario Party.
You're getting me excited for Mario Party, but I don't know that I'm gonna get it right away. But like, you're making me want to get it right away.
I am thrilled. Like, just watching. Like, I've watched like the gameplay videos of like, comparing all 100 mini games to the, like, I didn't realize they have Mario Party 4 mini games, Mario Party 5, Mario Party 6, and then ironically enough, the later into the series it goes, the fewer mini games show up. Almost like the games got worse over time. But But yeah, sure. I'm thrilled, man. It's going to be so much fun. So I hope you do get it at some point so we can play it together.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to, just because it's going to be... This is like, for me, what it feels like is it's Mario Party Ultimate, basically.
Yeah.
Because...
Well,
go ahead.
Don't go. Oh, I was just going to say, the thing that I think is so cool is, like, you've got the kid and everything, and your time is super limited. You can actually pause and save the game like halfway through. So we could play a 20-turn board over the course of like a month, if we had to.
It's good stuff.
I like that.
It's good stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
exciting.
No, I'm definitely gonna have to get it. And look, who am I kidding? You probably convinced me to get it at launch. So maybe we'll play a little lunch.
Get it at launch. We could record the gameplay. All right. What have you been playing?
Oh boy, that's a loaded question. I've been playing a lot of games lately, I feel. So Yeah, let's just kind of start from the top. What's the top, you say? It's always Pokemon Go. There was an event last weekend.
You're gonna make me upset that I didn't know about the event again. You gotta start telling me what these events are.
It was my little boy Duskull.
Oh, okay. That doesn't make me feel as bad. He's great, but I don't really care. So
he was. I think it was a paid event. I don't even know anymore. My wife just spends the Pokemon money. But it was a fun event. I want to say though that at least for me, I felt like the catch rate wasn't quite as high as far as or the shiny rate rather. Wasn't quite as high as usual. I still got I think 12 of them or whatever, but some events I get 22, so take that with what it is. So that's enough Pokemon Go. That was a fun event. I still like that damn game. The next game that I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about two games on Xbox platforms, so forgive me here.
Well, that actually used to be what this was back in the day.
Right, yeah, exactly. But then the Switch came out, and then everything comes to Switch. Tales of Arise is a game that has been on my radar for a long time because I love the Tales series.
Is that one not on Switch?
No, unfortunately not. It just came out in September, I want to say, in the beginning of September. It came to the Xbox series of consoles, so Xbox One, Series S and X, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Windows. Not the Switch, unfortunately, but it is a good game. It's a Tales game. It's a Tales game, but I love the Tales series, so I'm into it.
So I have some questions about this game, but if you have a full-on story that you want to get out first, please do.
No, I mean, really, there's not a whole lot to say. I mean, I don't really want to talk about too much plot because, I don't want to spoil a lot of stuff for anybody. You're in the realm of Calagria or whatever the heck it's called. There's slaves and there's amnesia. It's an RPG. It is what it is.
Then I have a question because I have seen a few articles about this that have kind of come across. I'm sure maybe you know where I'm going with this, but it's kind of the game's big issue that people seem to be having with it. The in-game advertising. Have you experienced much of that? It's you go to a camp, from what I've heard, and it's the rest point or the checkpoint or whatever in the game, and there's all this hey, buy this DLC pack. Hey, buy this DLC pack. The bonus edition comes with that kind of stuff. Is that real? Are people blowing it out of proportion? What's the deal? I can't hear a word you're saying.
Oops, I was muted. Sorry.
There we go.
It's a thing, they try and promote the DLC and all that fun stuff, but I mean, I don't really find it egregious, it's not as in your face. I mean, some people were saying it ruins the game. That's my voice apparently for the discontented gamer today, but it ruins the gaming experience. It takes me out of the immersion, that kind. It's not that bad that it's okay, screw you game kind of thing. No, yeah, I don't feel that. It's it is what it is, right? You go to the camp and there's 3 options. I think that's what they're talking about. You can rest, you can reminisce, and then I think the last option is basically purchase the things. And then you see that every time you go to a camp, but who freaking cares? Just don't buy the downloadable content if you don't want to buy the downloadable content.
I've played games like that before. Usually I find it's on the menu or whatever instead of the in-game menus, but that doesn't sound that bad. That's cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not. In fact, I didn't even know that it was a controversy until you said something about it, and then I had to Google it real quick just right now, and then I was oh yeah, that menu, that's what they're talking about.
So here's how it went down. I was on Twitter, the best social media platform in the world. The fun fact, edit this out of the produced show if it's too horrible to say, Eugene, but the Holocaust was trending on Twitter today, so that was something I saw. But yeah, so Twitter's great. And one of the articles was about how A Tales of Arise is a fantastic game that's hampered by, greed or whatever the thing was. And as you were mentioning it, I was was that the game that I was thinking of? I don't want to sound like a fool. So I Googled Tales of Arise and one of the first search results was ads. And I was yeah, that's the game.
That's the one. Yeah, no, I mean, again, kind of going back to the emulation thing with Kotaku, like I think the internet just likes to blow things way out of proportion, you know, like sure, it could be an issue for some, like maybe somebody didn't realize that they would have to pay for it somehow, and then, you know, like ended up buying it inadvertently, but like.
Well, I remember actually, Steve is a person, I hope he doesn't hate me for saying this, but Steve is a person who has issues with that kind of stuff, because he very much, more than the rest of us, I think, like has an obsessive desire to complete a game, to have everything in the game. So like when Crash Team Racing came out, like the constant like locked characters behind icons and the buy them now kind of stuff, like that really got to him, because he felt like he needed those characters, and not being able to just unlock them in the game like really put a damper on his whole, like, you know, thing. Like there are people out there who might like really be offended by that stuff. I just don't think you or I are the kind of people that
and that's fair, right? Like maybe I just don't have the personality type where I am affected by that, but I guess some people very much could be, so maybe I'm being insensitive in that regard. I guess
you're fine.
But I guess me personally then, right, it didn't affect my playthrough
well,
at
and
all.
you're a good judge. I mean, we do this show and other people listen, but really I use you as a means of telling me if I'm gonna like something, and the fact that you're not bothered by it tells me I probably wouldn't be bothered by it either. So
totally,
that's cool.
yeah. And going back to the game itself, I mean, it is a fantastic game. If you've ever played the Tales series, then
I've never played a single one.
Oh, okay.
Never played a single one.
I guess I can kind of describe it to you in a nutshell, right? Like it's a, you know, you have an open world, sort of like a map that you go around, and then your battles are all almost like Street Fighter-esque. So you go into
is this the one that you got me to buy one of the games and I've never...
I think so, actually, yeah.
You were telling me, like, this is a great starter point. I should play that game, man.
I think it's on the Switch one, right?
Yeah, Tales of, I don't have my Switch on.
I'm pretty sure.
I think that's it. I think I own it. It's got like kind of old fashioned looking art, like from like the 80s or 90s or whatever. I should boot that. That sounds like a fun game I own.
Yeah, it's more of this, right? The one thing I will say about Arise is that there's, you know, there's some quality of life improvements, things like that. So it does definitely feel a little bit more modern.
For sure.
But you know, it's a Tales game. It's really, really good. I love playing these games because if you can get somebody together with multiplayer, like I used to be able to do in high school, you can actually play the battles in multiplayer, which is really cool too.
I used to play Mario RPG, and I would have my friends over, and I'd be like, okay, you choose Mallow's attacks, I'll choose Mario's attacks, and he chooses Bowser's attacks. And they were like, this is so dumb. And I was like, no, it's fun. It's multiplayer. Like, that's so cool. I really like that.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. The I will say that, like every Tales game, I think the plot is engaging on any Tales game, but it is a Japanese RPG. You kind of already know what you're getting in for, like that. A lot of over the top, you know. That's what
I had trouble with that with Ys, like 9 or whatever it was. It's like, oh no, we're marooned on this desert island, and all these anime women want to sleep with me. You know, it's like, yeah, you know, that's great. But I will say I have a working theory, since we can go a little tonight. It's only the two of us. Yeah. I believe, and I'm sorry, internet, for the third time tonight, but my working theory is that the Final Fantasy games are not as good as any of us thought they were. I think that they have earned their titles as like the best RPGs of all time, but I'm starting to think that that's just because they were like the only RPGs of our time, and they had they had that history, and people just kept eating them up. Because like I've gone back and I've tried to play 7, I played 6 almost all the way through. I got through 3 and 1, and you know, the older ones at least. I haven't really dabbled in it. Well, I tried 14 on the Switch, the like mobile port, but I really didn't like it.
I totally forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, but I have a really hard time getting into them, and I don't with like the Mother series, you know, like Earthbound and Mother 3 and all. Like I love those games, so I don't think it's an RPG thing. I think it's just that like Final Fantasy is maybe it's that they're like the Mario of RPG games, so they're so like vanilla that. But it's like, I think there are better RPGs out there that people just aren't trying because like this is the gold standard, quote unquote. But I think it gets a lot better than what we're giving ourselves access to. So I want to try a Tales game. I want to try a Tales game.
I highly recommend it, and there's a ton. Like I can, if you like the Vesperia, I'll get you a list going, and we can get you some Tales going. The
We'll
thing
talk.
about right. The thing about Tales is that much like Final Fantasy, even there isn't really a storyline that flows throughout all the Tales games. However, there are.
I almost kind of prefer that, honestly.
Yes, but there's certain like Easter eggs if you have played
Chocobo, Moogles,
Yeah.
that kind of Sid is in every game. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I love the Tales series.
I will say my downfall, the thing that I have the hardest time with like JRPGs is like my favorite Xeno game is Xenoblade X, the one where you get to make your own character and ride around in a giant mech and stuff.
Right.
I really like RPGs that let me be the main character instead of like, you are Lloyd Irving, a 14-year-old boy from the city of, that kind of stuff. Like,
right.
I always like getting to be like custom male B, or whatever. But I can sink my teeth into a good RPG if I just put my mind to it. So I'm gonna have to give that a try.
I will say that the Tales is that, right? Like you are the chosen one or whatever type of thing, and you're
son of a blacksmith, and his mother was a harpy sea goddess. So, yeah,
exactly. You're the only one who can, save the world from X, Y, and Z. Yeah, exactly. So But okay, that's enough Tales. Only because, not because I don't love it, because I have more games I want to talk about. So let's talk about another game that I've been playing on Xbox, but I think I'm going to buy it on Switch as well. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania.
I have that sitting in my queue waiting to. I've never played a Monkey Ball game before, and I am so excited.
I love it. It's so good. It's got
like it's sitting on the home screen. Like
oh baby, it's so good. And part of the reason why I'm wearing this Sonic thing is because you can play as Sonic the Hedgehog in Super Monkey Ball, and it's actually my preferred way of doing it. So that's a thing. It is so fun, only because this is a game where, if you've never played Monkey Ball before, think of it as a marble game, right? Where you have to guide the marble into a hole or something like that by tilting the box or whatever you're holding, except for the box is the real world that you're tilting, and then the monkey ball is the marble, and that's what you're trying to do, trying to get it into the end goal. I am just so, because I loved this game back on the GameCube. I have so many great memories playing like battle modes and things like that, and the normal game itself. But, this is a good one, man. It's got, I think it's got like over 300 stages, and it's basically
like the first three. It's like Monkey Ball Ultimate. Like that's all we get now are just ultimate versions of
It's basically got the best levels from like the first three, I think, Monkey Ball games. And it's got a lot of mini games, so like you can play Monkey Ball Pool, like literally it's just like billiards, but with Monkey Ball.
I love Sega. Like they do such weird fun, like Billy Hatcher, Nights into Dreams, Monkey Ball. Like I really like Sega, man. They're fun. They're just a fun company.
Yeah, if I hadn't been playing Metroid, because I think I like Metroid a little bit more than this game, and we'll talk about that here in a second. This would probably be my game of the year contender so far, right? Because it's just a lot of fun. Monkey Ball, highly recommended. That's why I think I'm going to get it on the Switch as well, because while the reason I got it on the Xbox is because I could get it for cheaper. But I just want to play it on my Switch, so I think I'm going to double dip and deserve it. Go ahead.
Does it do online multiplayer, or is it like all like single player or local or whatever?
I don't know about that. I think that there's online multiplayer, but I haven't. I just don't know.
Because that monkey pool sounded mighty interesting, if you ask me.
It looks like I'm trying to Google it real quick. I can't find anything. It looks like there's online leaderboards, but I'm not sure if like you can play the multiplayer online. I'd have to get back to you on that one.
Too bad. That would be really fun.
Right? So that's Monkey Ball. Fun game. The next one that I will talk about is Metroid. And Metroid Dread is it's a great game. It's all that I have ever wanted in a Metroid game, because like, when was the last time we got a 2D Metroid game proper? A long
Wasn't
time,
it like
right?
2003?
Yeah,
This is where we need Justin.
Yeah, right. I think the last one was Fusion, the last like proper.
And I think that was 2003.
Mm-hmm.
That was like Game Boy Advance. Yeah. So.
And then we got like remakes and things like that. But like, this is the first brand new 2D Metroid adventure, and I really, really like it. It's and here's why. Nintendo has given me something, because it's not. It doesn't play a lot like Super Metroid, right? Like,
I've heard it's very linear. It's more like Fusion. Like,
yeah,
that seems to be the direction they're going. Like, it's ironically, since the whole genre is kind of named after them, but it's less of a Metroidvania, more of a go to point A, go to point B, do all the stuff, hide from the enemy, do that kind of stuff.
And you can sequence break. You can definitely get items out of order, but like, the game is very directed. And honestly, I appreciate that, because
Busy guys, we got a life to live.
Totally. And it just feels good to not excuse me, like, I'm still getting lost in the game a little bit, right? Like, there's still the exploratory part where you have to like, okay, figure out the secret and everything, but at least I'm not doing it aimlessly, because I've got Adam, and I love Adam.
I'm so glad I will argue that I don't think the Metroid games, other than maybe Prime, have really ever been about exploration as much as discovery. Even OG Metroid and Super Metroid, you're always supposed to go from point A to point B. It's not an open world where you can go anywhere and do anything. It's an open world where you have to have specific items to get past specific obstacles to get to. So all they're doing by kind of linearizing it is kind of, I'm sure there's still secret walls to bomb out and hidden things to collect. And that's really what Metroid is. It's never been an exploration based game. It's always just kind of been a giant world that doesn't feel linear because it's so big. But when me and Dad played Super Metroid last month, we realized all we were really doing was running around the map trying to find our spot until we gave up and had to look up an online guide.
Right. Yeah, now you just look up your mission log, and you can be like, oh yeah, this is what Adam just said last, so that's probably what I gotta go do, type of thing. Yeah. No, yeah, it's I'm loving it. It's a great game. It's a great Metroid game. It feels really smooth. Like, I've never felt Samus. I've never felt Samus zip around in a game like this, I feel, before, but like, she can really move. And then of course you can get some items to make that even faster, but it just feels really nice. I was thinking to myself when I was playing it, is like, oh, this feels like playing Samus in Smash Bros.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
So, I'm liking it a lot. I do want to talk about the Emmy zones a little bit, because there's been a bit controversy behind that. For me, I don't feel like they are out of place, or I don't like them. I feel like it's just enough because I don't want to give away too much, but of course you can destroy the Emmys in a certain way. Yeah. By the time you find the way to destroy that particular Emmy in that zone, it feels like I've had enough Emmy at that point, for me.
We actually wrote an article on Infendo that I think detailed like how to defeat an Emmy. It was in like the second developer log or whatever. So, yeah.
But for some people like me, I read that article, but I skipped over that part because I was like, I don't want to know. Like, like some people just don't want to know anything. And I was kind of in that position. Like, I was like, okay, that's actually really cool. And, but anyways, by the time you destroy the Emmy, and then the Emmy zone is clear, then you go back to that Emmy zone. You're like, oh, I kind of miss that little Emmy. I kind of want him to be chasing me around a little bit,
Yeah.
Because it feels like a game of tag, really, a game of cat and mouse. Because by the time I was about 4 or 5 hours into the game, because I was getting a little frustrated, but then I I changed my approach to those zones because I was trying to explore the whole zone and like find all the secrets and everything like that while the Emmy was still around. But that's not how the game wants you to do it. You know, like you can explore
out.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's very much you enter the zone at a point A and you have to find that point B because there's only one place. Like there might be multiple exits, but there's only one place that you have to go to like progress the story type of thing, right? So once I figured that out and kind of got my mind wrapped around how the game wanted me to play, I was having a much better time with it. Only because I was like, oh yeah, no, yeah, like I don't care if I die, like it's just whatever, it's a bad spawn, you know, I just need to get good and get past you next time, and then I'm gonna get you next time, you know, type of thing. It felt like I don't even know how to, like almost like a bullet hell type of game wherein you have to memorize the movements of the enemies and where everything is. So at a certain point I was like, okay, yeah, there's this sub enemy here, likely the enemy is gonna appear from this port here, so I'm gonna want to probably coax it over into this location so then I can run away and actually get to the area that I want to get to, you know, type of thing. So yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
It's obviously very much inspired by like the SAX encounters in Fusion.
Very much so. Absolutely. So yeah, and then the other aspect that I will touch on, but I won't again because I don't want to spoil anything, is the story. I am super enjoying the way that they're taking the Metroid story. It just feels like a very fitting, and I haven't finished the game yet, but it feels like it's going to be a very fitting conclusion to this saga.
I saw in one of like the developer interviews, they were kind of like, it felt very final to hear them talk about the game. They were like, you know, this will conclude the story of Metroid and everything. Like, and you know, I'm sure in like 5 years or 10 years or whatever, they'll want to dive in and make another Metroid game that takes place in the past or something like that, you know. But yeah, it sounds like this is going to be kind of the closing point on the whole, you know, plot.
Yeah, definitely. Like, of course, we still have Metroid Prime 4 to look forward to, right? But like, that's earlier in the timeline, type as it were, you know. So like, this very much feels like a conclusion to Samus's later adventures, as it were. I can't say enough good things about this game. I will say that I do. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's more my own personal shortcomings. They do this thing on the map where like the map will be like dark blue. I think Metroid games have done this before. And as you
that's not a shortcoming. You're colorblind.
No.
I thought you were gonna say like you can't tell the difference because like the colors are too close.
I can definitely tell the difference because it's like a lighter shade of blue that it like turns when you've explored that particular area. However,
I apologize for interrupting and assuming. Go on.
However, I play the map like I play Splatoon, in where I have to make every corner of the map light blue because I'm that OCD. So like it's probably taking me a lot longer to play this game than most people because I have to like paint the map like I'm like Splatoon.
I gave up in Super Metroid on that really quick. Like I was doing that in Super Metroid and then I was like, what am I doing? Who cares if I hit the top left corner?
Oh yeah, I do that. Like, I'll do a wall jump to get like the top left corner. Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, and there is at the end of the game, if you're that kind of person, there is like almost always a map
I know there is. That's why I do it.
And a timer. Yeah.
That's why I do it, because I inevitably know that when I beat the game, it's going to tell me my map completion, and I'm going to be at like 50%.
Oh, I already know
I can do better.
Mine's going to be like 23. I'm going to have found like 4 energy tanks. Yeah, I'm not worried.
Sure. Yeah, but Metroid Dread is good. I will say that the one thing that I would maybe knock it on, I guess, a little bit, is that it doesn't take away from it necessarily, but I don't necessarily love the again, I don't want to give away anything. So if you read the developer interview, I guess you know exactly what I'm talking about. But like, there's a certain upgrade to your arm cannon, and then it kind of shifts the perspective. So like, it's almost like in like a first-person-y type of perspective that you're like aiming your arm cannon. I don't really love that so much, but again, it doesn't like take away from the experience.
It's a small part of the game, though, right? Like, it's not like okay, because
It's
like I
very
do
small.
remember they kind of explored that in Metroid Other M, and it felt very foreign. It was like oh, okay, here's the weird first person part of the game, you know, like that was kind of weird.
It doesn't feel out of place necessarily, but I just don't like it. I could have done without it.
Man, I realized just now I am the kind of Metroid fan that I hate on Sonic fans for. Those Sonic people who are all like, Sonic's never been good in 3D. And that's me with Metroid, man. Like, I mean, I love Other M, but Other M is like a 2.5. You know, like the Prime games, I've always been like, Metroid should not be a 3D game. And like, jeez, I'm the person I hate.
My closing thoughts on Metroid is I cannot wait for somebody else to finish this game so we can talk some spoilers. We're gonna have to definitely do a spoiler cast at some point when the three of us have beaten it, because
it's gonna be a little bit for me yet. I have yet to make the deep dive, but you know,
that's fine. I feel like you're the type of person that when you actually get it, you're gonna beat it in a weekend, because like you can beat this game in 6 hours. You know, like it's definitely doable. So yeah, I'm not too worried about that.
Oh.
But yeah, that's the games I've been playing. Thank you for letting me talk a lot, because I feel like I did.
It's weird how we always go exactly to 10:30, like to the letter.
Right.
But it is that time. So thank you guys so much for listening. Justin will be back with us next week. He had some gremlins to take care of tonight, but those should be all dead by next Thursday. Have to be. So he will be back with us. We will have a packed house for whatever we're going to talk about, because I don't think there's going to be any big news between now and then. But hey, maybe Nintendo will announce a new Switch. You know, who knows? So
I think we'll talk about the OLED Switch, which I actually am kind of
actually Justin is diving into that experience. So be prepared. He went through hell and back to get his OLED.
He
so
sure did.
Oh, and if you talk to him on social media, be sure to call it the SWOLED. He loves that. So thank you guys so much for watching. We will be back next week with another episode. I still don't know what episode number this was. It doesn't really matter anymore.
16.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
See you real soon.
Good
Peace.
Afternoon, good evening,
and good night. Whatever Mike used to say.
Oh, God, what was that?
Like, later, bitches. I don't know.
Later, bitches. See you later. Twitch and YouTube isn't.
F you.
Actually, for real, thanks for all the people who were listening to us. At some point, we had 10 people. So.
Oh,
thanks.
wow. Thank you guys. It means a lot. You know, we have a ton of episodes. We are not a big podcast, so thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.